Like how the energy's been coming off a couple good wins and
yeah, it was good. I was, your first sign you look at is a Sunday evening walkthrough of practice, and it was good. I told them we had 24 hours to think about the last game and correct mistakes and then move on, and they've been able to do that really all year.
So the offense is kind of your baby, obviously. How do you feel at the halfway point of the season that side of the ball has performed?
We've gotten better, I think, executed better. Obviously we got more big plays, and whether it's Khalil or the wideouts or the running backs, but there's still a lot of things we know we got to get better at, because every week's kind of a different challenge. You see a new scheme and a bunch of new players. So I've been pleased with their progress. When we take care of the ball and execute, we do good, and we don't have turnovers and missed assignments. It's not so good. It's just like everybody else probably.
What are a couple areas where you think you can make a sizable jump in the second half of the season, offensively?
Well, just I think probably getting more first downs earlier in the game. And when we start off, it seems like when we start off fast, it's giving us confidence, and we'll be able to control the tempo a little bit. In a couple games, we haven't done well. We struggled early in the game to get first downs and get some rhythm going.
When you have a guy like Khalil playing well and he comes from a prestigious program in Sarah and is popular in SoCal, does that help you at all in recruiting? Like just pointing to him and showing that he's...
Well, I think anytime any guy does well in an area that's a prime area for us, it's got to help. I mean, they all know the guys coming out of high school, and certainly they knew who Khalil was coming out of high school. But doing it in college, helps a little bit, certainly. But it's not really changing our emphasis on recruiting. We're going to recruit Southern California, and that's going to be a home base for us always.
You talked about how you have two starting quarterbacks with Khalil and Brandon. Have you worked on some ways to get Brandon involved maybe in other positions?
No, he's a quarterback. He's a quarterback only.
Zach Green's a guy that you obviously trust a lot. You went to him at the end. I mean, what is it about him that you're confident?
I was just thinking about that. I was walking in here because Zach was walking in front of me. He doesn't say much. He just goes about his business. But he's as reliable a player as we've got, and he's always been that way. And he's a big guy. He understands the offense, and he's a physical runner. And he's a good football player. He's not just a short yardage guy either. But when you need to, when you're in the red zone and trying to run the clock out at the end of the game, you can count on number 34.
You guys have more than twice as many rushing attempts as passing attempts this year. Do you feel like that's become your identity as an offense? That
I don't really
run
even.
The ball and
I don't even. Well, that's part of it. I think it's always been a little bit part of our identity. It really depends on the strength of our quarterback and what they're kind of giving us. But there's no question we want to run the ball. But I never really look at runs versus passes. I more look at like total number of first downs and total number of plays. So I mean, you want to have balance, and inevitably teams can force you to have balance, but whatever you got to do to win. So I don't really look at those numbers.
You always talk about having 8 offensive linemen you can trust. Do you feel like you have your 8 halfway through the year?
We haven't been playing 8 as much. We've been playing 6 pretty consistently, but there are a couple of the young guys that are backups have done well when they've gotten in there, and I feel pretty confident with a lot of the 2s. But it's the way the games have played, and we haven't played them as much recently.
Is the biggest difference between this year's offense and last year's, is it as simple as injuries, or do you think there's more?
I think that's part of it. When you injure and your tailbacks get hurt, you lose a little bit there, but what you do lose a lot of is from their protection standpoint and blocking standpoint. Those guys are really good at it, and they've been able to stay healthy. So from our protections and from their lead blocking things, that's helped. And quarterback it always starts at that position. Last year we all know what happened there, and it happened early in the season, and you can't get any continuity going. And we've stayed, certainly healthier there at quarterback, so that's been a big key for us.
Have you sensed an uptick in recruiting the last couple of weeks with a couple wins?
I think a little bit. I think maybe they're answering the calls quicker, I guess. But, that last year certainly it was. When you have a tough year, you're always battling certain, things in recruiting, and it makes it a little bit tougher. And I thought our guys did a nice job of getting a really good class. And then this year's a smaller class, but I love the way it's coming into play. And we still need big guys up front, O-line and D-line, but I think this is going to be a really good class, really good.
Do you have a second option at punter that you might look at just to create some competition?
Yeah, we do, and Jake's been pretty solid, but he's had a couple that he's not had his best kicks. So Josh Pollock is there, Matt Aragon is there, and shoot, even Gerhard de Beer can punt a little bit. He might have the best leg on the team. I just can't imagine putting a 320-pounder back there. But he's begging for an opportunity. But Jake can get better, and we've got to get better on our coverage too. We're going to work really hard on that this week.
Is that from Gerhard's rugby days?
He's done it in practice, and you're like, you can know when Gerhard's punting it because you can hear it. It sounds like a shotgun going off. So, I've seen big punters before, but he would break the record. He keeps begging me to do that.
What's stopping you from putting him actually back there in a game situation?
Good question. Probably just the visual of that. Like, what the heck? But, I may let him get a couple reps in practice this week.
So Justin Wilcox was the defensive coordinator at Washington and USC before becoming the head coach at Cal. Is their scheme the same as the stuff he was running back then? Or?
Yeah, Tim DeRuyter's, it's really his defense, but you could tell a little bit of Justin's influence as well. I mean, you could tell he's a defensive guy, and he's put it, but I really think, and a lot of it is similar anyway, but Justin has always done a great job wherever he's been, but I got a lot of respect for Tim too. He's got his personality and his touch on that defense for sure.
Is there something in particular that they did to Washington State that really fouled them up?
Well, they mixed things up front, a variety of blitzes. They changed and disguised some coverages. They did a great job of playing the ball, as good as I've seen anybody all year, both in man and zone coverages. They were all over it. And Washington State can pick you apart, and Cal really broke on the ball and did a good job in their man coverage stuff too.
Their best defenders out for the year. Their best defenders out for the year. Does that change anything for you guys?
No, I mean they got good players. You always got to be aware of where certain guys are on the other teams, but you more try to go against the scheme as opposed to the guy.
How's Luca doing?
Luca's good. We missed him last week. He ran around this today, and we're hopeful for this Saturday.
All right, guys.